We've covered a lot of characters in the WorryWoo kit. If you haven't seen all the videos, I do invite you to see each of them performing on their own video and how important each of them is. But one thing we haven't covered is not only how these work in combination, but how you can extend the program I wrote, which was this one, to help children, young children, get to know their feelings, but how you can extend that to older kids. And I know that Erina Heights Public Schools will be doing some pretty interesting activities with stage 3 children, going beyond the characters. You will recall, and I showed you before, that we're trying to create kids who are people smart and self-smart. And all the characters that we've seen all relate to that, enhancing and helping children gain that confidence. Now I'm keen to see how school goes beyond what characters are there and beyond the books and beyond what I've written. How does it go so that students are still getting in touch with their feelings and can actually do something of benefit to them, and it's not just stopping with the younger kids. They're still growing and learning about how to handle feelings. So we're going to be talking to Anna and find out what she has done to extend the WorryWoos to her classroom. Anna's doing something which my own book didn't do. I wrote it for stage 1, and it's easy to extend it to stage 2, but how can you use dolls, plush toys, books with big kids? And how can you use this with stage 3? We've got kids at 10, 11 and 12. I would have thought that this may have seen the upper limits, but Erina Heights School has been able to embrace the WorryWoos totally and at all levels. Anna has made a point to actually cover the extension and how we can keep the WorryWoos still alive in the kids' minds and hearts and souls, and extending their feelings and learning how to control feelings. And so Anna, can you share with us what you've done and how you've done it? Because stage 3 is, they're big kids, and what are they doing with plush toys? So what have you done?
It is, yeah. No, it was, I just really believe in the program, and I love the WorryWoos, and I think more than any other age group, those kids that are getting older need to have that connection with their emotions and need to talk about it and need some way of expressing how they're feeling. So we wanted to bring the WorryWoos right up into that age group. So I developed a program that meant that the kids were analysing the 7 WorryWoos that currently exist. We looked at how they were designed, the colourings of them. For example, Nola's droopy neck, why that might symbolise that she was lonely, and her big eyes. So we really sort of looked at each WorryWoo and how they reflected that emotion. So that's where we started from as a whole stage 3 group. And then we've taken it further then, and we asked the kids to identify emotions that they've had in the past. And they got in groups that they felt comfortable with. So they got into friendship groups and had those discussions. And what was really powerful about that is that kids radiated to other kids that they knew had been through similar things than them. So we had kids that have been through family breakups gravitating towards each other and talking, combining wince with Nola and talking about their worries and that feelings of loss and separation. So there was kind of a combination of all the WorryWoos coming in, and we just had, and then so the kids started to develop their own WorryWoos. So they took elements of a few of the WorryWoos and started to draw their own based on the characteristics that we talked about. And just some of the results have been amazing. So they're then creating artworks and descriptions of their own based on those. So they're not quite finished yet, but we'd love to send you some of the results when they're done. But some of the ones that they've come up already are amazing.
Could I ask what ones they have come up with, what you've been surprised about, and which ones
So there's three that come to mind for me, Dr. John, in walking around last week. And they're not all my kids, they're from different classes. So we were really conscious about making the kids feel comfortable to talk about the WorryWoo that they were creating. And a lot of them paired up and, as I said, gravitated towards other kids that they knew had been through similar things. So we had two girls who their families have broken up in the last year or so, and they developed a WorryWoo called Pullo to represent the fact that they feel pulled in two directions. So this WorryWoo was designed with two heads with a heart in the middle that was being pulled in two different directions, and the body was twisted to represent the twisting of their stomach was in knots because of how they felt. So you can see that it got quite deep, you know, like they're really talking about it, and that was the value of the whole program. It was actually the discussion that the kids were having and how open they were once we talked about the need for them to discuss it with other people, whether it be us as their trusted teachers or with friends. There was another one that a boy came up with on his own, and it was Reggie, the monster of regret. And he actually designed his monster with a really big stomach to represent that weighing down, and the monster had short legs because he felt so heavy with regret. And I didn't ask the boy to, you know, elaborate on his feelings of regret at all, but he wanted to, and he talked about all the things that he wished he had have said to certain people and didn't, and experiences that he wishes that he had taken a risk and didn't. So that one was quite powerful. And then probably my favourite is SLEW, which has been developed by a young lady in Year 6, and SLEW stands for the sadness that lies underneath anger. So she talked about being so sad that you become mad, and that was an easier emotion that she felt that she could express, even though she was so sad that anger was the easier emotion to express. So, and the way that she designed it again. So you can just see how much we're getting out of these kids when they start talking and expressing, and because they were designing it themselves and basing it on emotions that they could relate to, it was just so powerful. But they all had elements of your WorryWoos underneath, and so that was why it was so powerful to start with those, and for them to pass them around and cuddle them and talk about the features of each one. So no, it's been amazing.
So Anna, we've heard about Reggie and SLEW and Pullo, but in the world that your children are now moving in, they're more conscious of social issues and problems and world events. And we've been through COVID and so on. Have any of them related to that? And have they incorporated that in any of the characters they've examined, they've developed?
Absolutely, and as I said, it was really powerful, the girls drawing on the separation in the family, but we even had students drawing on COVID and coming up with monsters that one was called Cuffle, the COVID monster, and the features of that were, you know, high anxiety and elements of twitch, you know, that frustration of being in lockdown, and the anxiety that comes around not knowing what's going to happen in the future, or the loss of not seeing their friends every day. So again, there was elements of all of the WorryWoos in there, and the kids were able to express how they were feeling in such a time of uncertainty. So that was really powerful as well.
Well, how therapeutic would that be? Well, thank you very much for your contribution. It's been an eye-opener to many people, and it's extended me as well. And I'm just glad the kids in your class are learning so much that is going to help them right through their life. Thank you.